everyone, I'm Shannon Slatton. Restaurants and bars received some welcome news Friday morning when Governor Walz announced a major rollback of COVID-19 restrictions. Starting Monday, bars and restaurants will be able to operate at 75% of indoor capacity with a limit of 250 people, while bar seating increases to parties of 4. Rock Elm Tavern is one of many businesses hit hard by the pandemic. The company actually had to temporarily suspend operations at its Plymouth and Maple Grove locations just before Christmas. The Plymouth location reopened in January, but the Maple Grove venue has been closed this whole time. The owners plan to reopen it next week under a new name, and the governor's announcement came at the perfect time.
Restaurants, weren't set up to be tables 6 feet apart. So when you look at it, it's how do we do things like plexiglass and barriers in order to get up to that 75% capacity.
Despite the easing of restrictions, the mask mandate and social distancing guidelines remain in place. And the loosening of restrictions affects hair salons and barbershops too. Those come Monday. They just need to follow social distancing guidelines, as there will be no occupancy limits. The same goes for churches and other places of worship. Other venues are allowed up to 50% capacity. They include gyms and fitness centers and entertainment venues like trampoline parks. Brooklyn Park is taking steps to make the city more bicycle friendly. But as Delane Cleveland reports, the city council had to determine this week exactly how they plan to go about doing that.
On an unseasonably warm winter day with highs in the 60s.
I love it. It's wonderful.
Minnesotans were making the most of their opportunity to get outside.
Beautiful day for a walk, yeah.
Paved walking trails are certainly one way to get people out of the house. And residents asked for more access back in 2015 when the city developed its pedestrian and bicycle plan.
The big items that were brought up, they wanted more connections, they wanted more sidewalk connections, they wanted more bike trail connections, bike paths, alternative modes of transportation.
City engineer Jesse Struve says that's especially true along Xerxes Avenue in Brooklyn Park, which connects with the Shingle Creek Regional Trail. The city wanted to make this area more attractive to bicycles, yet figuring out the best way to do that was up for debate at Monday's city council meeting. One scenario would be to create a dedicated bike lane on Xerxes.
The result of adding bike lanes would be you would have to remove parking on one side of the street.
The other option would be to use the shoulder as a designated bike route and add some additional signage. This option would cost the city $7,000 less than adding the bike lanes.
One of the downsides of having a designated bike route is that bicycles will have to share the shoulder with parked cars. That means bicyclists will have to be on the lookout for people opening their car doors.
Ultimately, the city council decided to go with the bike route option, which means that everyone in this area will have to be on alert.
Bikers, as they move through that route, they need to take caution if they're moving around a vehicle.
Safety aside, the hope is that the plan to create a designated bike route will get more people out of the house to enjoy Mother Nature.
Being outside is good for us all.
In Brooklyn Park, Delane Cleveland, CCX News.
The bike route plan is part of a bigger street summer paving project. City officials say the new bike route should be in place by early fall. Commuters along 494 and 169 can expect to see changes coming to the billboards when driving through Plymouth. The city approved having these so-called dynamic billboards like the ones you see here. An ordinance change in Plymouth means a static billboard can be replaced with a digital one. However, there has to be a mile between any digital billboards. There will not be any billboards converted to digital use along Highway 55. It's that time of year to store away the sleds and tubes. Elm Creek Park Reserve in Maple Grove is doing that too. They've closed their tubing hill for the season, but downhill skiing and snowboarding are still open. Cross-country skiing will continue as well. If you'd like to try out cross-country, the park is still renting out cross-country skis. Cooper High School students might be in distance learning, but the show must go on for theater students. Here's Neil Persley with our weekend showcase.
No one can take away your talent. Becoming a successful screenwriter takes time.
At the beginning of the 2021 school year, it was clear that any fall theatrical production at Cooper High School was going to look dramatically different. Not meeting in person, theater students got together under the direction of Gretchen Werzer to produce an original play virtually.
Well, this show follows Barbara and Charlie, who Marcus and I play. I'm Barbara, and Marcus is Charlie.
A glimpse into Charlie's life shows he is an aspiring screenwriter, unemployed, eating Pop-Tarts for dinner, and about to lose his girlfriend. But he's getting some help from Barbara, his agent. The twist is that Barbara is his dead agent.
She comes back to help Charlie write something amazing, something great.
His whole family, his girlfriend, all his friends, they want him to succeed, but they just don't believe in his dream at all.
Marcus and I were in the same space. We were on stage and recording in front of a really big blank screen with our setup in front of us. And that was really easy.
Sulia and Marcus got together for a few scenes, but apart from that, the rest of the cast shot their own parts solo.
We would film scenes at home against blank walls and stuff, so the editor would be able to do different effects like green screens, or be able to change the background to something appropriate for the scene.
There are 11 students in the cast with 3 student directors.
So this was all really uncharted territory for every single one of us. But I think the kids got really savvy toward the end with angles and doing takes and using the correct vocabulary.
The curtain goes up and the link goes live on Saturday night, March 13th. You can go to the Cooper High School website to find the link. For Weekend Showcase, Neil Persley, CCX News.
4 of the top 8 teams in the Class 4A boys basketball state rankings are from the Northwest suburbs, including number 1 Champlin Park. Jay Wilcox has highlights from the Rebels' regular season finale.
It's Park Center looking to knock off top-ranked Champlin Park in a good boys basketball matchup. Champlin Park's Dylan Gachaba slices between 2 defenders for the layup and an early lead for the Rebels. Braden Carrington to Dawson Rudolph for one of his 3 first-half threes for Park Center, and the game is tied at 10. Robert Fan with a great hesitation dribble and layup, and Champlin Park goes in front 17-10. Leo Torbor is explosive on the drive to the hoop for the finger roll, and the Pirates are within 1. The Rebels go into Francis Wakoria for 2 of his 25 points. It's a good back-and-forth battle. Darian Hoke gets the return pass and pops a 3. Champlin Park goes up by 6 and later 8 late in the first half. But the Pirates close the gap. A corner 3 from Ayuba Berthe brings them to within 2 at 32-30 at halftime. Second half, and Champlin Park starts in style with a dunk from Wakoria on a nice quick passing play. Then Adrian Mogaka sets up Gachaba for the jam. He scores 13, and Champlin Park holds the lead. Park Center claws back. Carrington hits the tough pull-up on his way to an 18-point game. And Rudolph knocks down a 3 to tie the score at 46 all. These teams played overtime in their first meeting. After a quiet start, Josh Strong heats up for the Rebels, burying a 3 as they retake the lead 52-50. Park Center keeps on coming. Torbor's drive and bank gives them the lead back at 58-57. But the Rebels make just enough plays to stay undefeated. The press break leads to points as Champlin Park beats Park Center 72-66 to finish the regular season 18-0. Section play starts in the week ahead. Jay Wilcox, CCX Sports.
The playoffs for high school hockey teams get underway in the coming days. 2 Section 6AA boys hockey opponents met up this week in an entertaining game. Wayzata meeting Benilde-St. Margaret's in high school boys hockey Wednesday night. The Trojans catch the Red Knights out of position, and Gavin O'Connell takes the Carson Peters feed and scores on a breakaway. Wayzata leads 1-0 midway through the first period. They narrowly miss making it 2-0 when Jake Keller can't quite pull the trigger from in close. It remains a 1-0 game after 1. Tied at 1 in the second period when the Red Knights' number 15, Ryan Gearing, gets his stick on the puck and scores. Benilde leads the game 2-1. Keller slides a pass out to O'Connell for the one-timer. His second goal of the night. That ties the game at 2. Late third period, and the Trojans go ahead. Reese Gardner shoots it from the point. The puck gets through as number 12, Jake Schneider, redirects it in for a goal, and it's 3-2. 16 seconds later, Wayzata scores again. Keller to John Matson, back to Keller for the goal. Wayzata wins at 4-2 over Benilde-St. Margaret's. Both teams compete in the Section 6AA tournament starting next week. One night later, those two schools met up in girls hockey in what was a low-scoring game. Wayzata girls hockey at home to face off with Benilde-St. Margaret's as the teams prepare for the section playoffs. First period, Wayzata on the power play, and the Red Knights' Emma Peschel picks off the pass. She goes in and scores on the backhand to give BSM a 1-0 lead. Red Knights goalie Allie Van Stelten wasn't tested a lot, but did make some key stops in the game, including this save on the Trojans' Karina Schindler. Wayzata goalie Annika Lavender turned away 25 shots in the game and makes a huge save here on Emma Hain. Final minute of the game, it's still 1-0 when Hain gets the loose puck and she chips a long shot into the empty Trojans net. Benilde-St. Margaret's wins at 2-0 to finish the regular season with a 10-3-3 record. John Jacobson, CCX Sports.